All right, guys, we're back. We've got the dynamic duo, Tristan and I. We are about to break down an Harrassment body-worn camera video here. Our goal is to tell you the good, the bad, maybe you laugh a little bit. You usually do with Tristan. Maybe you learn a little bit. I can't promise that, but maybe you learn a little bit here as well. So we're going to break it all down, and you, please, tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly in the comments. All right, Tristan, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Rental, please.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, man. How about you?
Hi.
I'm just checking in. I'm not trying to pinch you for anything. You're good. You're good. It can stay there for a second.
Yeah,
can you just bring your left hand forward for me?
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
My hand was just here.
I know. I just like to keep eyes on hands.
My seat is back, man.
What was that?
My seat is back.
You want to move it forward?
No,
it's up to you, man.
Yeah,
if you're uncomfortable, move it forward.
That's why I had my hand back.
Okay. You're good, man. I'm only talking to you because you've been here for like quite a while now, like a few weeks at least.
Oh, I went to Little Caesars. Oh yeah, through the box.
I'm not talking about tonight. I'm talking about like in the last month. You've been here a lot. So I'm just checking in to see what's going on. Are you living out of your car right now? I'm assuming.
I was gonna say I'm homeless.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not trying to pinch you for anything tonight. I'm just making sure everything's okay. You're good. What's going on? Are you just out of work and stuff? I'm not trying to pry. I'm just curious.
I can show you. Right now I'm editing a video.
Okay.
But let me show you something.
So you're working right now? You have a job?
No. I'm just editing a video because I'm doing some YouTube.
Okay.
That's what I was doing. I showed you the editing page, right? You saw it?
Yeah. How old are you?
Hold on one second. Let me. It's really cold. That's why I'm shivering. And I'm also working on this. It's a U.S. District Court. Suing the Lyon County Sheriff's Office.
Huh.
I was at the Wilson Canyon rest area. I was there for 2 nights. And then the guy kicked me out of the rest area. 2 nights. And he said I couldn't go across the river to the BLM land. You know where Wilson Canyon rest area is, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like a traffic stop, like a more of a well-being check, right? Yeah. You know, officers are allowed to make contact with the public, right? So nothing inherently wrong about that. Does this guy need to like answer all the questions and talk to him?
I don't think so, right?
No.
Clearly he's okay. Like,
right.
He's not in distress. I don't see anything illegal going on.
Right. Exactly. And so, you know, this guy could, in theory, you know, kind of cut it short and I'm not answering a question. Then, like, you know, I don't know where he's at. Maybe he's not allowed to stay there overnight.
He's illegally parked.
Yeah. All that. Then you just kind of... So it seems to me, my initial impression is that the officer is genuine, and it's just a guess, but is genuine and not trying to jam him up and is more or less just inquiring like, hey, man, I know you've been kind of... Seems to me like you've been sleeping out here. Is everything okay?
Right. He's asking quite a lot of questions, though.
He's asking a lot of questions, right? But... you know, that's how you figure out if somebody's okay. Yeah. If there's service, if there's, you know, maybe somebody, you know, maybe someone would be better off in a homeless shelter. There's services available. I mean, that's how you build the relationship with the people in your community. So I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the questioning. And I don't see the guy doing really anything illegal. So it seems like an okay interaction to me so far.
That could be a marketing pitch for BMW.
It could.
Worse than a homeless shelter.
Yes, I like that. BMW. And a ton of Monster Energy.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah.
It's like between Smith Valley and Yerington. So basically, I'm assuming, I already filed it, 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, Federal Statute Discrimination, 8th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, Martin v. Boise, because there is public land. Martin v. Boise is a ruling from 920 F. 3rd 584 9th Circuit Court of 2019.
Do you have ID on you?
Am I required to give you my ID, sir?
So listen, man, I'm just checking up on you. You've been here for a few weeks, right?
I understand, but the thing is, I just want to explain this. That's why I'm trying to explain this, sir.
I know.
I'm not trying to cause anything.
I know.
But
you're delaying my investigation.
If you want my ID, I'll give you my ID.
Yes,
but
please.
let me just say this. I'm suing the Lyon County Sheriff's Office because they required ID. Terry versus Ohio, reasonable suspicion.
Right.
So do you have any reasons? I can give you my idea. I have no problem.
So do you want me to explain it first?
I mean, you can
So this is my beat. I've worked here for over a year and a half. Okay, I know that this is a high crime area. A lot of crime goes on here.
Are you going
to listen?
It's okay.
Are you going to listen?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I'm listening.
So like I said, we have a lot of crime in this area, right? We have a lot of vehicle burglaries and whatnot. We have a lot of people who sleep in their cars in this area.
I see that.
Yep, exactly. So I check on these people all the time.
Yes.
Okay. So reasonable suspicion, as you know, it would just lead a reasonable person to believe that a crime is, or will be committed, right? So from my experience in this area, crime can absolutely be committed in this area, like vehicle burglaries, for example, happen all the time here.
But for
Planet Fitness, right?
They
have crime occur all the time, inside and outside. Okay, with their members parking outside, their vehicles getting burgled, and everything else going on in this parking lot. Okay, this is a private property, so do you have a right to be here? If they want you to be. Have they told me that they don't want you here? Nope, not yet. They have not. But I've spoken with management and whatnot.
Where?
At Planet Fitness, at Wingcoat. I've spoken with all these areas, and they love for me to come down here and check on people because of the crime rates.
All right, things are developing, right? First of all, I think he misarticulated articulable suspicion.
Sure. So it's the belief on the part of the police officer that the crime has been committed or is about to be committed that's tied to specific details or information related to a specific person. It can't just be like a general feeling or a hunch. It's got to be like, I think this guy's done something or he's about to do something. I'm going to go check it out.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be probable cause. He doesn't have to think I could arrest this guy right here, right now. It's just enough that he has to have some facts he can point to beyond just like a feeling or a spider sense that this guy or this particular person is involved in something illegal that is occurring or will occur soon.
Yep, I think you're exactly right. And so criminal activity is afoot, right? Is a way they say it, right? That either it had just occurred or is in the process of occurring. Criminal activity has just occurred or is in the process of occurring, like you said. I think this officer way overstated it when he said like that a crime could occur. A crime could occur anywhere at any point. It has to be way more specific than that. Again, not rising to the level of probable cause. But yeah, so this officer's overly broad. And this is that sort of transition between a wellness check. Hey man, you okay? Can I, there's plenty of stories great stories and great officers out there saying, hey man, can I take you to a shelter? Can I buy you a cheeseburger, right? Whatever, right? And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but where it's now transitioning into an investigatory stop, and he needs some reasonable articulable suspicion there, and I don't think he has it.
I think cheeseburgers are off the menu.
You see what I'm saying?
So that's why.
Just in general. So that's why.
No specifics. I have my ID right here. I can give it to you. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's only if it's required. If you say it is required, this is a detention, it's required, I'll give you my ID.
Okay, so I'm confused because at first you said you don't have a problem giving me your ID.
I don't, but it's only if it's required.
So those are two different things. You're
I have no problem if it's required because I have an ID.
Perfect.
So if you're saying,
I'll go ahead and take your ID.
Am I detained?
Yes.
And you're required my ID, right?
Yes, I just explained to you the reason with suspicion, and that's all I need in order to ask for your ID. Correct?
No, under Terry versus, I can give you my ID.
Okay, thank you.
But no, I mean, if it's required, because if
I'm telling you
it is. My hand, it's required.
I'm telling you
if
it
you
is.
take it from my hand, it's required.
Yep.
So you
I just took it.
And
I'm telling you, this is all recorded. I just took it.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, perfect. And what's your social?
I don't feel comfortable giving my social on camera.
Okay, well,
you have a body cam.
Well, you have to.
Can I write it down?
So
I don't want to say it out loud.
The thing is,
I'll write it down.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine. Because I don't want to say it because
it's reasonable.
Very good.
I mean,
write it down.
The officer's got to be careful, man.
Yeah.
When I get that you're frustrated. Like,
sure.
I get frustrated with people all the freaking time, right? But you got to be extra careful when you're frustrated, you get short and like, yeah, you know what? I am required. Give me the freaking thing, right? That's what you do when you short circuit, like, because you don't want to put up with all the middle ground. You short circuit it and just say, yep, jump to the conclusion. Everyone has a tendency to do that. But when you're an officer, you got to be really careful with that because
you are detained.
Yeah, you are detained, right? based off of a reasonable articulable suspicion that was not articulated and not reasonable. So yeah, I think the officer is stepping in hot water with an overreach.
I think he does have the right to ask for ID because the person is in a motor vehicle, and I believe he can check.
He didn't articulate that.
He didn't, but I think that would probably be his fallback.
Right. And he said, you know, that the managers in these businesses like me to check. Yeah, no shit, but you're not, of course they do. They would love you to check everybody, but you're not private security for them.
Right.
So, yeah, of course they want the cops patrolling their parking lot. But that doesn't really factor in here. You still have to have a legal basis for doing so.
So I'll just write it down, okay.
It's going to be seen on my body cam no matter what.
So why is my social required, sir?
Because that's how you identify yourself. Unfortunately, our dispatch
That's
cannot... Can you listen for
Okay.
1 second? You keep talking over me.
Sorry.
Our dispatch cannot run passport and ID numbers, so I have to ask for your social.
Should I write down my driver's license number?
Yes. Driver's license number or social.
I'll write it down.
Most people don't know their driver's license number. If you have it with you, you could just give it to me. That would be a lot
I'll
easier.
write it down, man. I'll be fine.
I mean, most people just give IDs,
Is it okay
but
if I write it down, sir?
I'm telling you it is. But you keep asking the same question.
Yes. Because I give you my passport, so I'll just write down my driver's license, sir.
Okay.
But you have my birthday, my name, so
Correct.
I think I'd also...
Do you know how many name and date of births with the same information as you there are in the U.S.? A lot.
I think very few because it's a specific date. It has to be specific.
It's a date is... Trust me, a lot of people have the same date as you.
He's right about that. Yeah. Like, I don't know this guy's name, but yeah, you know, they can do it, right? And narrow it down and where do you live and where you're from, what's your last known address. But if you got your driver, I've said this before on video, just memorize your driver's license number.
That'd be really good.
It would be good. You
Just have your driver's license.
Or have your driver's license.
Just give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, right? Like, I will say this is maybe an appropriate time to say I personally would have no issue giving my driver's license.
Because they're going to get it or they're going to take you in.
There are absolutely times where I would choose not to interact with the police.
Sure.
There are absolutely times where the police overstep. An ID in a parking lot, to me, is not worth that battle for most of the time. But you know, if people want to take that route, go ahead. And I'd say, if I had to give an assessment here, I'd say that the driver's more in the right than the officer.
Yeah, I would agree.
Would you?
For now.
For now, okay. Fair enough.
Oh.
I'll make
Is
this
my passport, or do you still need it?
No, but I still need it because I didn't get your name and date of birth unless you want me to get that.
It's on my passport, sir.
Well, that's why I have it, but you just asked for it back.
No, you can keep it
Thank you.
for that. Yeah.
He was giving me a hard time because he didn't want to give me his social.
There we go. Has committed, is committing. So just in the recent past, has committed, is in the act of committing, or is about to commit a crime. I stand by the officer broaden that to say a crime could be committed. That is more broad.
And because he said, you have my passport, I said, I can't run your passport number. We don't have access to that information. And he didn't understand that. I said, dude, I'm not lying to you. Like, this is how this works. Alrighty, partner. You don't have any words, so that's good.
Can you pick that up for me? I fell from my window.
Yeah, I'll scoot over here. I don't like to pick up things in front of people because
Can I
it's...
get your name and
Yes,
badge?
Officer Gauthier, badge number
Can you write that
16009.
down?
Yep,
And as
absolutely.
I said, remember like when I said Wilson Canyon Rest Area? There's actually a map because I'm suing them.
You're
for
good, man.
Miami Boise. I just want to explain.
I'm all about if you want to sue people, sue people.
Look, this is
That's your right.
Let me
Go
explain
on.
Wilson Canyon Rest.
I'm good, man. I don't have time.
Let me
I
write down your name and
That's
badge
fine.
number.
That's fine.
What is your name? Okay,
okay.
G-A-U
Yep,
T-H
THIER.
and then
Badge
number.
16009.
And was he with you, sir?
He just came.
Is he a supervisor?
He is not.
Can I talk to your supervisor, sir?
Oh, just
Our contact with you is done. So if you want to make a complaint,
Yeah, I do.
okay.
Because he said he had reasonable suspicion because based off of in general, like this crime in general, but under Terry versus Ohio, you have to have specific reasonable suspicion that I myself
Right.
was about to commit a crime or have committed
And
a
did
crime.
I already explain that to you?
You said in general, sir. Like in general, like kind of
So
goodness says.
I said from my training experience in this area, from working this beat over a year and a half,
Not very long.
people who sleep in their cars in this area do commit crime.
So
I have specific instances where that's true.
And we've been asked by the property owners, Winco, and Planet Fitness, since we had taken several reports, made several arrests.
have you talked to anyone else today?
What are you talking about?
Like the other people? Or are you singling myself out?
I'll be honest with you. I just logged on tonight. You are the first person I've stopped. Am I going to stop more people if I don't get dispatched somewhere else? Yep, I will.
Like, why did you pick my car versus the other
Because
cars?
you have been here for probably almost close to a month. So I decided I was giving you a couple weeks because, you know, hey, maybe
Have you checked the other ones?
maybe you're just
Not
going through a rough
here.
time. Maybe you're sleeping out of your car. I don't try to bug people. I told you that from the beginning, right? I told you, hey man, I'm not trying to make your life hard, yada yada. But after you've been here for about a month, red flags start raising, and obviously, if you've been here that long, you've had enough time to know this area very well, know the people that come and go, know the time that businesses shut down, and are more
That's
likely to
24
commit
hours.
crime. It is 24 hours,
And
you're
so
right.
is the Winco.
It is.
The Ross probably closes around.
Well, look at that.
Seven.
You know, because you've been here for a month.
I don't think the Ross, but I know.
Pretty sure they have a
because I
sign.
saw.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Like,
too.
By all means, go right
I
ahead.
would like to talk to
My
you.
contact here is done. You are free to leave.
Can I
Okay.
request a supervisor?
My
I know
supervisor.
you can leave, but I wanted to talk to someone,
Do
sir.
it. You can call, and then a supervisor will call you on your phone if you'd like to talk to them.
Yep.
Can you get your last name, sir, and badge number?
Reps
E
16006.
R O O K S
Yes, I'm not going to keep repeating it.
16006.
Okay.
And what requires officers to give that information?
Huh?
What requires officers to give that
Well, I'm not
information?
saying it's required, but he gave it to me when I asked. I didn't say it was required, did I? I didn't say
I never said you did say that.
Because I was asking you for the badge number.
I'm asking you what requires officers to give that information.
I don't know. Like you gave it to me. I didn't say it was.
I did give it to you because I don't
never
have a problem because I feel very confident
said-
in what I
It's
did
on your
tonight.
thing, but I can't read it.
I don't have an issue.
Contacting you.
It's
Okay.
on your thing, but I can't
So
read
if you
it.
want to call non-emergency and call dispatch
What's
and
the
have
number?
and talk to a supervisor,
334
cops. Okay.
Is there an area code 725? Or no area
775,
code?
same as the area code in Reno, Nevada. 775-334 cops.
Reno 911.
OPS.
All right,
That
partner.
was the non-emergency number.
Yes.
Yep.
And sir, you work for the Reno Police Department, sir?
Guys,
Yep.
come on, dude.
Reno, Nevada.
And how long have you been in
Like he doesn't want them
About
to
2
leave.
years now.
He doesn't want him to leave.
Almost 3. Is it almost 3?
About
Holy cow! Time flies.
Are you both deputies? I'm not sorry.
No, Reno Police. That's
What's
city
with the
police.
300 questions?
Huh?
What's with the 300? We're done talking.
You can Google, man.
Well, I mean, if
You're
you're
asking. You know we're real police.
You're asking historical questions. I'm
Historical?
not here to answer that.
well,
Okay? I don't know what you're trying to catch us up on.
Well,
I don't play games.
I'm
I'm
not
here for
trying
a
to play
serious
games.
matter, and if you want to play games, that's
I'm
fine.
not trying to play games.
Okay?
I just want
I've
some
been very
information
professional
when I
with
call.
you, and our contact is done.
All right, Tristan. So I am glad that interaction is over. Let's talk about. Let's try to unwrap reasonable articulable suspicion. The officer's definition of it, we think, was overly broad, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
And in the sense that he wasn't actually articulating anything specific at all. He's just saying like stuff could occur here, crimes can happen here. Well, that's true everywhere. Instead, he has to point to specific things that may that may show or that may lead to indicate that
Something's afoot.
criminal offense is afoot. Exactly. And then because that officer's understanding of it was incorrect, overly broad, and don't get me wrong, like an officer should know that. Like that is fundamental to an officer, and he needs retraining on that. There's no surprise then that his application of it to this instance was overly broad. He's saying like he didn't actually articulate anything specific. So I don't think he had a basis for the ID, at least for the reasons that he stated. But are there other things that he could have said that would have justified the ID requirement?
This, I think, is kind of a gray area. I mean, the guy's in a car. A license is required to operate a motor vehicle. He is in actual physical control, the legal definition being that you're in vicinity of a vehicle with the ability to drive it, like the keys, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think on the one hand, the officer could say, I felt obligated to check to see if he was a validly licensed driver. You know, that's my job.
Yep.
On the,
And wait, just let's pause there. And we think that would have been a better stated, reasonable, articulable suspicion for the ID than what he did say.
yes and no. I mean, yes, because you have to be licensed to drive a car.
Right.
Every state in America. It doesn't matter if you know the law. In Nevada, I'm sure it's the same.
Yes, but the law in Nevada could be different.
Sure, about the control. But
Yes.
you got to be licensed there, just
Sure.
like here.
Yep.
The issue I see, though, is there's no articulable suspicion that he wasn't licensed.
Right.
And there's no articulable suspicion that he's committed any traffic violations or any illegal activity at all, unless he was parked illegally. And I feel like that probably would have been mentioned by the cop
You would
during
think.
that long interaction. So
Right.
he approached the person in the context of like community caretaking, a wellness check. Are you okay?
Yep.
And then it sort of matured into this investigation, but the investigation as to what?
Right. Exactly.
Like, there's nothing. So I wonder if it was even reasonable in that context, because there's nothing this guy did that the cop even said was illegal. He didn't even allege that the guy did anything illegal.
Right. So if this guy, they found a bag of drugs in the car then, right? Something happened after this that led to an arrest. Would you file a motion to quash and suppress based on that initial interaction?
Yeah, there's no reason.
100%.
What did he do?
Yes, 100% you would file that as the defense attorney and make this exact argument that the officer didn't understand reasonable articulable suspicion, didn't actually articulate any reasonable articulable suspicion, and didn't have any basis for prolonging this and making an investigatory stop rather than that initial sort of community caretaking, which was probably more permissible in the first place as long as it ends there and doesn't continue.
Right.
That's sort of our analysis of it, right? But it did keep continuing again, and I think the reason for that is the officer's ego, to be honest with you, which is like, you know what? Yeah, he just got short. I was annoyed with watching this, right? I'm sure he was annoyed, but you got to control those emotions and not just shortcut it, like I said, and be like, you know what? I'm the cop. I said, give me your ID, so give me your ID. That's where you get in trouble, especially with these sort of Fourth Amendment auditors, which, in my opinion, that's what this driver was.
Yeah, he had to be.
Right? I mean, he was dying to talk to somebody about these lawsuits and lawsuits for the same reason. And, here's and this is public property. And they told me wherever he was going with that, I couldn't follow it. The officer didn't give a shit, right? Because the officer really was there in the beginning to just check on him.
He'd been there a month.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a long time.
I think that's totally reasonable.
Not like an overnight.
No, I think it's totally reasonable to check on him. The officer's like, listening to this guy, and he's like, oh God, right? I don't want to hear it. I don't actually care. I just started my shift. I got a whole night of stuff, right? And I get that too. But he shortcutted it, right? And said, you know what? You are detained. Give me your thing. That's where he runs into problem, especially with an auditor. Let's talk about these auditors, and boy, is the internet going to roast me for this. I will say that I think they serve a purpose. I know they serve a purpose, right? Officers do overstep. Your Fourth Amendment or any constitutional right should absolutely be upheld by anyone with a badge.
Yes.
Let me be clear about that. This case in particular, though, I think it's pretty flimsy. You?
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I mean, in terms of the Fourth Amendment auditors,
yes.
I mean, spam serves a purpose to test my spam filter, right?
Yes.
I think they are the spam filter for this. I mean, this was totally unnecessary. I don't understand what he was going for here, and he was egging them on.
Yeah,
he was baiting them to try to get them to do something wrong on video. Personally, I think there's enough people that really get arrested where the police really do things wrong. You don't need these extra guys out here with the nothing cases.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, I think he was looking for it. I think, what are your damages on something like that? Like, you're the one that prolonged the damn thing, right? What's the end game? And I don't know. I'd have to see again if it would hold up that the reasonable articulable suspicion was operating the vehicle. That kind of turns on that, right? But I get it. You want to be an auditor, go wild. It's not me. It's not for me, especially in these thin cases. Again, I've said it a million times in video here. If you're doing something wrong, or if they're overstepping clearly, then don't engage.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's your right. And I want you to win that sort of legal battle versus the cops. But here, I just think it's so thin, so flimsy, even despite the officer misstating reasonable suspicion. Yes?
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Hopefully it was a learning experience for both.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. I mean, again, I don't know. I've never sued somebody for this or represented somebody suing. But, what are the damages? You know,
like nominal damages.
I would think so, right? Your Fourth Amendment, even if it's like overwhelmingly your Fourth Amendment rights were trampled upon, which I don't know is true here. But even if that were the case,
an injunction.
Yeah, I don't. Right. What's really the resolution? I guess someone's looking for a couple bucks. I guess. Okay. Now, given all of this, Tristan, give me your grade for this police officer.
I'll say B minus.
Okay. How come?
Well, he held himself together. Besides being snappy, he didn't lose his temper. He didn't give in to the temptation to give that car a fine-tooth comb look to find some reason to arrest the guy.
Right.
Which I think a lot of officers would have done.
Yes.
The B minus because he misstated the law as applies to the reasonable articulable suspicion, and he transformed that caretaking. Are you doing okay? Stop into an investigation pretty quickly without any reason. I didn't see any specific reason to do that.
Yep.
So I'd say B minus.
All right, I'm with you. I would say a C, somewhere in the middle, because for the same reason, I do believe it was came from a good place. Like, it was just a community caretaking function. He wasn't looking to jam anybody up. He didn't actually jam him up in the end, but he did misstate the law, which an officer needs to know, RAS. And then and he misstates it, and then he sort of ego gets in the way, and he says, yeah, give me that license. And that right there was the mistake. In the end, he didn't take it any further, which is good. So I'm going to give him a middle of the road grade there. How about the driver?
I mean, from what I saw in the video, I'd give him a C, with the caveat being that if he was actually doing something illegal, then I don't know why he would do things the way he was doing. That being said, he didn't escalate the encounter. He wasn't physical. He didn't disobey commands. He didn't swear. He wasn't verbally aggressive.
Yep.
So he didn't do anything really bad.
Right.
But he certainly prolonged that encounter, and he certainly the more time you talk to them, the bigger the chance they're going to be like, all right, that's fine. Your taillight's out, buddy. You're coming with me.
Exactly. Yep. Now keep in mind, we are not constitutional rights attorneys necessarily, like, civil rights. Certainly that plays a big role when you're defending somebody in court, when you're a criminal defense attorney. But the reason I say that is our perspective is like, minimize your interaction with police. Go away and not in handcuffs. Like, that's a win for me and the people that I represent,
sure.
Right? And so that's the context with which I'm approaching this situation. I totally understand how somebody who doesn't care about that and is way more interested in holding an officer accountable for trampling on someone's Fourth Amendment rights would take a totally different approach.
Sure.
And so I just don't agree with the driver's approach. It's just not what I'm into. It's not what I do. And so for that reason, I'm not going to grade him that high because it's just not how I would handle that situation. It's not how I would really recommend someone handle that situation because I see so many people who do have something illegal in the car or have been drinking and driving or could get ticketed or searched or has a warrant or whatever, right? It's just not necessarily how I would recommend handling it. In the end, I'm going to give him a middle of the road grade too. I think all that stuff was entirely unnecessary, but at the same time, I think we can, narrow in here and find that this driver was probably right on the law in the end.
Yeah.
So can't grade him too far down for that. We are lawyers after all. Yeah. All right, so this might be our first video where nobody actually got arrested, I think, right? Nobody wound up in handcuffs in this one, which is good. That's what I want to see. Despite being a criminal defense attorney, I don't want people to get arrested. And I mean, it's an interesting one here. We identified a cop probably being wrong a bit. We identified somebody interacting with the cops who maybe was a little overzealous. So this is a judgment call. I think we're going to get a lot of comments, and so please do comment. Tell us what we got wrong. I know you guys all have opinions here as well. We're just doing the best we can to analyze this situation, and I hope you found it enjoyable. Thanks for watching.